Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at Mega Dragonite EX. This is a deck that, I must admit, I've not been having the best time with. This has been a very tricky card to actually build around. So I've took a few different lists, pretty much jammed them together, and hopefully this will work, but let's just say my confidence with this deck is quite low. So as per usual, in the description below, there's going to be usual links. The deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro, what I think of the deck. So today we're going to take a look at the new Mega Dragonite EX. Obviously I am a couple of weeks late to this, because obviously I did take that week off, but trust me, I needed it. And well, this card actually seems pretty okay, and you know, it's strong, don't get me wrong, I just think it falls a little short with the way you have to build it. What I mean by that is we obviously have to play the Eels to keep that Iono Glide fed, so to speak. Because Iono Glide does 330 damage, which is insane hitting power, but you have to discard 2 energy. Now, you never want to discard the water energy. You only want to discard the lightning energy. We're not playing really any fancy attackers in here like Wellspring or the Zorora. I did try a different Zorora, but it's not very good, so I stuck with Rayquaza, the new Rayquaza single prizer, and so far it's been pretty good. This is the Rayquaza I'm on about. This is from the new set Ascended Heroes, and its attack, breakthrough, assault, 20 plus. If this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot this turn, this attack does 90 more damage. Now we're not playing a fire energy, before anyone asks that. I know some of you like me to meme, but no, we're not playing a fire for the Dragon Claw, and plus even then you're only getting a plus 20 for more energy investment. But no, this attack is actually not too bad. It's reasonably bulky as well at 120 HP, so it can deal with quite a few things in the early stages. But obviously we don't really play a way to like turbo this turn 2, so to speak. If we can get the Rayquaza swinging, that's nice and all, but that's not really our main focus. Obviously we are playing the Eelektriks to obviously use Dynamotor with the, you know, the lightning energy and stuff like that. Obviously, the only thing you have to watch for this is the retreat cost, but obviously the Dragonite solves that issue, so we don't have to play things like Air Balloon. But obviously, you know, this is definitely the, I would say, the weak point of the deck, because obviously 90 HP is not a lot, and obviously with Zoroark seeing a rise in play, they are playing Enstar Manitan, which means the Zoroark can copy this and take out your Eels. Then once you've swung with your Dragonite and took out one of them, you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs. So there is a backup strategy to this in the deck, which obviously I'll talk about in the deck list. But obviously the main thing that I wanted to cover is obviously the Budews. Now obviously I took this inspiration from For the Win TCG, and I thought, well, I might as well give it a try. You know, it's worth trying. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, because obviously this deck involves a lot of setup. And it actually works pretty well, you know, having the option to do Budew is just so useful in this deck, and this is quite a slow deck, I will say. It takes a while to get everything set up, so having Budew to just slow your opponent down is a really good thing to have. And then for the late game, I decided to just chuck in a Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Obviously we can actually charge this up a little earlier with the Dynamotors and stuff like that, because Dynamotor doesn't care what energy or what Pokemon it goes on to, as long as it's lightning energy. So I thought, well, a bear just makes sense, because then if we need to boss for game with bear and we need an extra energy, we can Dynamotor to it, attach the bear, and then boss with the bear and obviously win from there. And that was really my thought process. But anyway, let's go to the deck list and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. I must admit, this is, like I said in the intro part, this has been a deck that I've really struggled to make work, and it's not really down to the card itself. It's more down to the fact that everyone and their mother, and probably their grandmother, knows how to counter this deck. It's very easy to beat a Mega Dragonite deck if you know what you're doing, and you at least, you know, play your cards right. And that's kind of why I've gone with a bit more of a supporter-focused package, instead of like adding in a draw engine or anything like that. But also, I've tried, you know, maximizing as much as I can in terms of efficiency. And well, you don't really need to worry about playing things like Ultra Balls, because the Dragonairs actually search your Pokemon for you if you have energy on them. And that's why the shall we say, the search counts is literally 4 Buddy Poffin, 3 Poké Pad, and a Nest Ball. Because I'm relying on the Dragonairs to search my Dragonites, which, that may seem like a dumb idea, probably is, but in testing, it's been no issue whatsoever. And to be honest, having that just saves a lot of room on the overall, you know, deck list and everything. Obviously, the only issue with this is obviously the only way we're getting the bear out in the late game, same with the Fez, is that singular Nest Ball. So maybe that's something we could improve on with this build. But so far, I've not really had a reason to, because a lot of the time I don't really need Fez, but I've just got it in the list anyway. So obviously we're playing 3 Dratinis, 3 Dragonairs, and 2 Mega Dragonites. 3 Tynamos, 3 Eelektriks, I call it Electric just because it's easier. 2 Budews, 1 Fez, 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, and of course the Rayquaza. Then we're playing 4 Lillies, 3 Iono, 3 Boss, we want to be bossing whatever we can, and 1 Crispin. This is more for just helping to get Dragonair set up, or Dragonite I should say, set up a little bit earlier. It can also be used, Crispin can, to attach to 2 Dragonairs, so you're attaching a lightning and a water to a respective Dragonair. And what that means is you're searching out 2 evolutions, so you can grab your Eels, you can grab your Dragonite, you can grab another Dragonair. You know, that's kind of my thought process as to Crispin, but obviously it can be used to power up the Dragonite earlier, which is a very useful thing. Then of course we have 4 Buddy Poffin, 3 Pokégears, 3 Poké Pads, 2 Earthen Vessels, 1 Rare Candy just as a bit of an emergency, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Nest Ball, 1 Super Rod to help with the Crispin and also just general purpose recovery, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Powerglass. This is the backup I mentioned earlier. Obviously, we're not always going to be able to have multiple Eels set up, so the Powerglass helps us with our attack, because obviously that means we can have the Water Energy on, we get a Lightning back. If we need to Night Stretcher or manually attach a Lightning, we can do so. And then of course the ace spec of the deck, I went with Maximum Belt. This just felt the more consistent option. It means in the mirror we're one-shotting Dragonites, and obviously, you know, we're dealing with the likes of, you know, the other Megas in the format. And it just made the most sense, because Rayquaza does fall short on a few of the Megas, so it does just made sense to me, to be honest. Then of course 2 Town Store to help search out our tools, and also Stadium Bumps, because we always need Stadium Bumps. 6 Lightning, and 3 Water. Like I said, there's not really a lot to improve this list on. Like, you could easily add another Nest Ball to obviously find your Fez, find your Bear easier. You know, just general purpose search. You could even add an Ultra Ball if you wanted to. Again, never really felt the reason to, because obviously my Dragonairs search my Dragonites and Eels. And well, to be honest, I've not even used Bear once in this list so far, but like I said, having the option to just go in with a basic that can just smack for 240 is always a good thing, and that's why we're playing Triple Boss plus a CC. It just made the more sense to me. So let's get into a match and see how we do. And welcome to the first game. We're up against someone in Mewtwo rank. Sorry if I sound a little bit croaky as well. I've got a bit of a sore throat, but that's normal for me, to be honest. I'm hoping that this list, because it has been working in testing, I hope it goes a lot better than the Team Rocket's Honchkrow video did, because, yeah, that didn't go well, let's just say. That did not go well. I do admit that that deck has definitely soured my opinion on it, just because of the way the games have gone. I mean, you know, in real life, like, PTCG Live wouldn't be the way it is, but, well, unfortunately, PTCG Live is PTCG Live. So we do get a Mully, that's not too bad. I mean, they kind of know we're playing Thingamabob anyway. We start the Rayquaza as well, so that's not too bad at all either. We can always get a turn attachment onto it and threaten the Breakthrough Assault for 20, I guess. We've got a Psyduck and a Fan. Nothing really calls out to me here. See what I did there? Fan calls out to me. Yeah, I'll stop. It may be pretty much first thing in the morning, but my dad joke meter is still on. I can get triple Dunsparce. What could this be then? I have been, you might have seen it on the decks that I have. You might have seen me testing, oh, it's Alakazam, this is going to be rough. You might have seen me testing an Alakazam Chandelure deck, and that's been really fun, I'll be brutally honest. So I'm just going to attach, and I'm just going to Iono. I have a feeling they have a lot of Dunsparce, or the Duns in hand. So I'm playing it safe. There's a Buddy Poffin, excellent. So, I can retreat this Rayquaza and item lock them with Itchy Pollen. So I think I'll do that. I'm gonna Nest Ball and get myself a Tynamo. No, not you. Get you. I'll Town Store, just so I have that as a shuffle as well. I can thin the Powerglass out and I can actually do a prize check. So I've prized 1 Dragonite, I've prized 1 Dragonair. I've not prized any eels, which is good. And yeah, there's not really a lot I've prized here. Obviously, we've got the Maximum Belt, which is fine. So yeah, I'm just going to do exactly what I said. I'm going to retreat into the Budew, bench a second Dratini, and we will Itchy Pollen. And technically, if we can get that Rayquaza set up, it is relevant here. If they do manage to get an attack off, we do have Fez in hand, which is at least something. And to be fair, that Lillie's didn't get us a huge amount, so, you know, I'm not really annoyed about that, but still. They're going to attach to the Psyduck, and they're going to ram me for 20, eventually. That would be quite funny to see. I've never been KO'd by Ram before. I mean, I guess it's the first time for everything. Fail the Town Store, and they do get a Lillie's off. Alakazam doesn't really play tools anymore, like they sometimes play EXP share. There's Battle Cage, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Are they going to do anything else? Because they don't even have anything else, and no. I mean, the fan is obviously a threat to us. Ooh, boss, that doesn't really solve anything. We could boss one of the Abras, which would be probably our best solution here. Because obviously this Psyduck can now retreat. I'm just going to plonk this here. We're not really doing a lot, but that's the whole point of Itchy Pollen, is we can just put this pressure on. And, you know, we can just go, hey, I will force you to find your stuff itself. Now, obviously, they can evolve to Kadabra, which has the, I think it's Super Side Bolt attack. They are going to Jet Energy into the Psyduck, and they're going to ram me for 20. Get in. I love seeing these meme attacks. But no, this hand is very poor for us. I would I wouldn't have attached Jet. I would have gone Hilda for Psychic plus Kadabra and done it with Kadabra, because then you're not wasting your Jet energy. I don't know if that's just me, but still. And there we go. There's the Ram for 20. Respect. Alright, this top deck needs to be something good, and that is something good. And it gets us also something good. Excellent. Let's Lillies. Let's see what we get. Okay, there's an Eel. So that's good. We don't get a... Well, we do get a Poké Pad, so we can Dragonair, which is good. I'll do that. I'll Vessel away the bear. Sorry, bear. You're not going to be useful in this matchup. Grab a couple of Lightning Energies. I'll attach a Dragonair. Evolutionary Guidance. And we'll grab another Dragonair. I'll do that to you. Bench the Tynamo. Dynamotor. To probably the Rayquaza, because even though it can't deal with an Alakazam, it's at least an attacker in the late game. And yeah, we're just going to Itchy Pollen again. I want my opponent to take a knockout with Ram. What can I say? I mean, it's funny, you know, like, you don't get to see Ram as an attack, you know? But he has got a beast of a board set up, so this is why we're probably not winning this match, you know? He's got the Dunsparce established, he's got, well, one Abra established with a energy, he's got a Fanrotom as a backup attacker, he's now just evolved to a Kadabra. Yeah. We literally don't win this matchup, but, well, I'm just going to play it out a little bit. If it doesn't, like, well, I say literally don't, like, you know, we do have Rayquaza, we do have, you know, attackers that can at least attack here and obviously be single prize, but they're not ideal. You know, like, there's only so much I can do in this matchup. But there we go, there's the Ram for 20 and taking the knockout on the Budew. So we'll promote the Tynamo, because obviously it does have free retreat, and I can go into the Rayquaza here. I would want to Iono. Ooh, boss. is that fine to boss here? I mean, it's not the smartest of ideas. They don't play a lot of energy now. I know that much. So I'm going to attach to the Rayquaza. I'm just going to Iono. I'm not too worried. You know, like, we have a really good board set up, but now they only have access to one Dunsparce. It's kind of my thought process. So let's go free retreat into the Rayquaza. I'll now evolve this. Do I want to play the second Dragonair? Probably not. I'll Poké Pad. Do I want to grab another Tynamo? I mean, I don't really have a reason to. I can grab Budew, but keep it in hand. I'll Vessel away this Candy, so I can get rid of that. I'll grab a Water and a Lightning. Then, I will just break for Assault. Take the knockout. Down goes the Psyduck, which, for the first time ever, I've seen a Psyduck get a KO. There's Crispin. Like I said, we could park a Dragonite in front of them, but the problem is with that strategy is we only have one, and, well, yeah, there's one just patch, like I was fearing. They have the Alakazam. They need 6 to take out this Rayquaza, and, well, they're going to draw into 3 right now. So they can take out our Rayquaza and freely bench that Dunsparce. And they could also do that, so that's making our job a whole lot worse, but that's why I've gone an increased count on Ionos, so that's at least something, I guess. But obviously now we're going to lose this Rayquaza. But the nice thing is we can actually promote one of the Eels, because obviously we're going to get our Dragonite this turn. So that is at least something. And there's Powerful Hand for 140. Down goes Rayquaza. We're going to need to bench Budew at some point as well, but obviously for now we're going to promote one of the Eels. At least that's the idea. Wouldn't mind seeing an Iono, but we do not find one. So I don't need to play Super Rod. So I will Evolutionary Guidance. Grab myself a Dragonite. I'll then Dynamotor to the Dragonair. Dynamotor again to the Dragonair. Evolve to the Dragonite. We will then use Sky Transport. Switch it into the active. I'll turn attached to the Dragonair just so I have the chance. And we will Reuno Glide for 330 damage and a knockout. Discarding both Lightning. Like I said in the intro part, you never want to discard your waters. If you play the Powerglass build, like if you have Powerglass, it's not so bad. You can get away with this. But 99% of the time, you do not want to chuck away this water. So just bear that in mind if you do play this deck. This is something to consider. Something tells me, because they need, is it 19 cards? I mean, they just drew the nuts off of that. So hold on. 9, 12, 15, 18. They can almost get there. That's crazy. They need another card off of these next 3 draws. So they need another way to find a draw, basically. So there's 12. As I said, they need 19. There's an Abra, so that's one less card in hand. They're attaching, so I don't think they can get there. They can do Dunsparce twice and get to 16. But then that's still only... Oh, he's got Tulip. That could get him there. Will that get him there? I think it does. 13, 16, 19... Yeah, you can get there. Yeah, I'm just going to scoop. I gave it my best shot, but yeah, I'm not winning that matchup. That matchup is pretty much impossible. Like, if we played, you know, like, a single prizer that could obviously deal more damage to Alakazam, we'd be fine, but, well, there's only so many options. So, let's go to a Game 2. Game 2, that was, I mean, I gave it my best, you know, like, but when your opponent draws the nuts and draws into multiple of the Dunsparces and draws into Fez, yeah, they could easily hit 19 cards, and with Tulip, they were pretty much guaranteed. Like, yeah, obviously, they were a card short originally, but once they played that Tulip, they were over the threshold, so there's no point in me continuing. Like, I could do a funny Itchy Pollen to just assert dominance, but nah, it's not something that, you know, it's not something that I'm going to do just to waste time. You know, I'd rather not waste my opponent's time, I'd rather not waste my time, or your lot's time, so... We do get another mulligan, but that's fine. Oh, we do start Budew. We're going second. We are going second. Hello, Budew. We have a nuts opening hand as well. We have Buddy Poffin, Water Energy, Poké Pad. That's pretty good. Let's see what we're up against. Hopefully something that Dragonite doesn't struggle into, because, well, I've been seeing a lot of Alakazam lately, and I don't like that. Solrock. Okay, so this could be multitude of things. This could be Dengo, this could be Ceruledge. Fighting Gong, that's just going to be for a Lunatone, so that don't really give me much information. That's fine. Get the Lunatone down. Luna Cycle for 3 if you've got it. And he does, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not seeing anything that like gives away anything. Oh, it's Lucario. Okay, we are fine into Lucario because, well, we do have the A-Spec which gets us over the threshold. So, like I said in the intro part, the reason for playing Max Belt over anything else is we're actually 10 short on the likes of Lucario and stuff like that. Carmine? Okay, sure. I mean, you do you, my friend, I guess. It's not a bad thing, you know, like, my opponent can obviously do something like that. But, yeah, that's interesting. I've never seen Carmine in a Lucario list, but still, we can at least item lock, which is something. They're not exactly setting up anything intimidating, so I'm not too worried. But no, that's why I went with Maximum Belt, and the people who have played Hero's Cape, please don't. Like, I get the reasoning. He's going to Night Stretcher for that fighting and put it on the Riolu. Hero's Cape is your A-Spec? Come on, man. 440 HP? Well, technically, Dragonite plus Rayquaza would be 340, so, you know, we can get there. It's just going to be a nightmare. So let's get some Dratinis down. I'll price check once I Poké Pad, don't panic. So let's have a look. So we've got Tynamos, we've got one Dragonair in the prize cards. We've got a Dragonite and Dragonair, well, the Eel in hand. So we've not prized any Eels. Prized Iono, prized our Lilies. What about Energy? We're not got a max spot in the prize cards. We have prized a Town Store. We prized a Lightning Energy. I can live with that. So I'll do that. Attach to the Dratini. And Lilies. Okay, that is actually really good. So we're going to do that. Do I want to Buddy Poffin for another Tynamo? Because they could gust it with Hariyama. I mean, there's no harm in it. I don't think. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, Ichi Pollen. Why are they playing Heroescape as their A-Spec? Is there something I'm missing? Maybe like a... You know, like, if it was a Riolu underneath that had, like, Flail or something, so, like, it does 10 times for each damage counter, I'd understand that, because then you can play Relicanth. They're just passing. Okay, rather interesting. So let's go Eel and Dragonair. I know I said that in the reverse order, but, well, my brain's a bit bush, let's just say. So I'm going to do that, we'll go into that, and we'll Lilies again. Decent. So let's do that. We can then Evolutionary Guidance again. Grab ourselves an Eel. The important thing is we're deck thinning here, so that's the main thing. And yeah, I'll just Itchy Pollen again, which does 20 because of weakness. Like I said, they're not really doing a lot, so I'm not, like, worried here. It's the main thing that I'm worried about is the Riolu. Because obviously that thing can be very dangerous if it's allowed to set up. So let's see. I'd want something like Vessel off the top, because then we can discard that Lightning Energy. And then we can potentially use Pokégear to find us a boss, and we can boss the Riolu early, take it out, and then, you know, we can obviously go from there. It's interesting that they chose to draw there and not attack with a Solrock. It's like they don't realize they can. They're going to use Hariyama, and they're going to use the Hevo Catcher. They are. They can bring up an Eel, but I'm not worried about that in the slightest, I'll be brutally honest. If they do choose to bring up an Eel, that's their choice, but, well, I have Dragonite in hand, so I'm not too worried. They're just going to bring up an Eel. Is that all they're going to do? No, they're now going to attack with Solrock. That just seems a bit counterintuitive to me, but Sure, I guess. I mean, you can, I guess, but you've not played a Power Pro, so you're not taking out my eel. I don't know, that just feels a bit off, but anyway. So let's stand a bit further with the evolutionary guidance. We'll grab another eel out. I'll Pokégear, see if I get anything better. Boss? I could boss Hariyama, maybe? Because, well, no, don't click on Iono. I already have an Iono. I could boss Hariyama and start plinking that, or I could... No, bossing Riolu feels bad. I think Hariyama's my best bet to, like, just slow them down a bit, because I'm not fully set up how I want to be. So, I'll evolve to a Dragonite. But do I want to waste a boss just to do that? Not particularly. I'll Sky Transport, because, again, I can't attack with Dragonite yet. I'll play the Crispin, because I did have that water left. So I can do that. I'll attach a Dragonite and threaten that for next turn. And yeah, I'm just going to Itchy Pollen again. I have no reason to be worrying about losing a Budew here. Like, I'm not worried in the slightest. If this Budew goes down, I don't care. I'm bossing that Riolu, is all I'm saying. Because I don't want it to become a Lucario. It probably will this turn, but I'm kind of hoping it doesn't. And there it is. Great. That does mean, though, that they're not playing Maximum Belt as their race spec. So this could be okay for us. And plus, it means we can use Counter Catcher, not Boss. Well, they have the judge. Is this a post-rotation Lucario, perhaps? I'm getting a whiff of that, is all I'm saying. There's a Fighting Energy. Are they going to retreat the Solrock? They are. Okay. They're going to go into the Lucario. And they're just going to Aura Jab. That feels like a bit of a mistake to me, but, well, I'm not the one piloting the deck, am I? Still, I'm getting a strong whiff of post-rotation Lucario here. I'm getting a strong whiff, but anyway, we're going to bring up the Dragonites. And there's a Nest Ball, so that's actually pretty good for us. So we're going to Nest Ball. I would grab Fez here, but I don't... Then again, I can grab Fez and Finn more. But obviously that is a risk if they obviously have Gust for it. So, do I want to Fez first? I mean, I can bin an Iono. That's not going to be too important. I can do that to thin there. Plus, it means I get a shuffle of the deck. I'll attach there, then Iono. Okay, that's not too bad at all. Because, like I said, Reno Glide plus Rayquaza equals a knockout, so I'm not worried in the slightest. Okay, that's pretty good for later. And yeah, we're just going to Reno Glide. Big fat 330. And get rid of both lightnings. My mouse got caught on my mouse pad then. That's kind of why I couldn't click on that second lightning. If they do gust the eels, like if they start gusting eels, I'm not worried in the slightest again. But I preferably don't want them to boss or Hariyama the Fez. But if they do that, then that's fine for me, because then that means we can kill this Lucario next turn with Rayquaza, and then we can Dragonite the second one. So I'm not worried in the slightest here. I'll be brutally honest with you. I'm not worried in the slightest. If they Hariyama the Fez, like I said, I'm just going to kill him with Rayquaza. And yeah, that's pretty much what they're going to do. Because I can Dynamo to these lightnings onto the Rayquaza, because like I said, Eelektrik doesn't particularly bother me. Oh no, they grabbed a Lucario. I was too busy yapping, I didn't notice. They're going to set up the Hariyama as an attacker as well. Okay, it's fine. I'm not worried about that. Fighting Gong, which can't grab them a Hariyama. Are they going to Mega Brave or Aura Jab here? Because, like, you could set up most of your board with Aura Jab. And nope, they're just going to Mega Brave. What we could do then is we could attack with the second Dragonite, because I believe that was in deck. Yes, it was. Okay, so I think we'll just do that then. So I'm going to evolve to the Dragonite. I'll use the damage deal, because then it feels like it's done something. I'll then Sky Transport into the fresh Dragonite. Because we could just go 3-3 for our prize map. I'm not worried in the slightest. I'll Vessel away one of these Budews. Do I need a water? No. I'll just take a Lightning. I don't want to put down Town Store because I don't know if they're playing any other tools that I'm worried about. I'll then Dynamotor to the Mega Dragonite on the bench. And Iono Glide for 330 damage and a knockout. And of course, get rid of both Lightnings and not connect with the mouse pad. Well, I say it's a mouse pad. It's not actually a mouse pad. So, for my Dyspraxia, obviously well, it's technically Dyspraxia and Hypermobility. It's a nasty combo. But what it is my wrists hurt after a while of obviously, using a mouse on like a computer and stuff. So what my mouse is actually catching on is my wrist support, which I bought these like years ago. I got them recommended by my sister. And honestly, like right now, my hand is just relaxed touching the mouse, and it's a lot better for me to actually do that. It's a lot more, consistent for me to obviously use it rather than, keep myself in pain. It's like yesterday at work, I was in absolute agony after I finished, but still, they're going to boss. Do they have the boss for the Dragonite? They do, but that means we have game. Because we just go Town Store for the Maximum Belt, and then we go to Lucario for game. Poké Pad. I'm going to grab a Poké Pad. That's fine. I'm not worried about Maki. He said we have game in hand. Yeah, they can take 3 prizes here, but we just promote the eel that is damaged, because I like to give him some representation, because obviously he was hurt in the line of duty. And, well, we have game with Dragonite plus Town Store into Maximum Belt. So, we have game against Lucario. This list is working a lot better than I thought. So we're going to drop the Town Store, use the Town Store, grab ourselves the Maximum Belt. We will then Dynamotor using the undamaged one. Dynamotor using the damaged one, so he gets representation. Whatever the mouse actually wants to work. Attach, boss to Lucario. Sky Transport, not freaking Scry Transport. And we will Iono Glide for 380 damage and a knockout. We wouldn't have done that without Maximum Belt. We'd have probably lost that next turn if we didn't. But there we go. That's game against Lucario. I will take that for sure. Is that a new effect? Must be. Because there was an update for me to do this morning. But yeah, that went pretty well. Let's go to a game 3. And welcome back to game 3. That was a pretty good game there against Lucario. And really puts home the point of you fall short on most Megas. So you kind of need to play Max Belt. I get the idea for Hero's Cape and, 470 HP to be a bit of a troll and stuff like that, but, well, I don't really, I don't really warrant 470 HP when I'm not taking one-hit knockouts on the big Megas. Because, like I said, I wouldn't have won that game without Max Belt. He probably had Gus for the Fez, so that's probably why. Alright, let's promote the Budew. We are going second. As long as this is not a donk deck, because I don't have any other basics, we should be fine. Because we have a really good opening hand. We have Buddy Poffin, Pokégears, etc. Like we do have a lot here. And they're starting with the beautiful Fez, which just screams to me Ghost of Tsushima. If you've never played that game, don't worry about it. So there's a Solrock. They're going to play a Nest Ball for the Lunatone. We're not against the same guy, are we? I've not really been paying attention to usernames, I'll be real honest. I don't think we are. No, we're against Goldengo. Okay, this could be interesting. Like, they do need a lot of resources to take out a Dragonite, so that's at least something. But yeah, we do need, we do need to be careful in this matchup. It's not going to be easy, let's just say. So, Buddy Poffin, we only have 2 Dratinis. We only have 2 Dragonairs available, but we do have both Dragonites available. We've got, how many Tynamos do we have? Okay, we've got all of them, that's fine. We only have one Iono, which in this matchup is going to be fun. We have a boss in hand, that's fine. Otherwise, not too bad. Obviously, the lightning energy is here, so that's why I'm not worried. Poké Pad, we'll grab ourselves a Tynamo. Bench that. Play the gear. We do get the Lillies, which I'd rather do because I don't want to give them fresh cards. I'm going to attach to the Dratini and Lillies. I'd like to get a second Tynamo down, and we do. Excellent. We're not going to need Maximum Belt in this matchup, but, well, I mean, technically it could be relevant, you know? Rayquaza for 160, and then finish up with, I don't know, Tail Slap on the Dragonair twice, I guess. I doubt that's going to happen, but, you know, a man can think, I guess. I mean, if we did have access to Dragon Claw in this deck, you know, technically we could, but still, you know, it's something to think about, you know. You have to think about these lines. They're a bit dumb when it comes to lines, but, you know, it's something. It's something. So they're grabbing Secret Box and an Air Balloon. Something tells me I'm getting my Budew smacked into oblivion here. And nope, they're just going to go into a Solrock, which is fair enough. And well, there's nothing else for him to do other than Cosmic Beam. Pretty nice. I'm not close to obviously getting an attack off this turn. I need quite a bit more, I'll be honest. Well, that's a good start, benching the Fez. So that's Fez. Okay, that doesn't get me where I want to be. Does Pokégear save my bacon? It does. Excellent. I could threaten Rayquaza, but like I don't have anything in the discard pile. I could attach water here, but that feels kind of rough. I want to save the waters. Like we did have all of them, but do I risk it? I think I do, because I could potentially knock this out if I get it off the Lillies. Let's see. We can. Excellent. We can get a response with a Rayquaza, so let's do that. I'll grab another water energy just so I have it. I can then evolve into Dragonair, Evolutionary Guidance, for another Dragonair in case you get any funny business. So then we will Dynamo to the Rayquaza. Rayquaza's getting some rep today. We'll go into the Eel as well. We're not going to evolve it yet, so we need to retreat into the Rayquaza. Now we can evolve it and break through Assault to knock out. This does mean our prize map is going to be a little bit odd, but I'd rather do it with a single prizer than a 3 prizer. And even then, I wouldn't have been able to... Would I have been able to do it this turn? If I'd have attached water to the Dragonair, I could have, but then again, I'd need to find candy, and, well, we only played 1, so I'm not taking that risk. So, you know, it's important to think about these things, you know, like, there is something to... you know, there's something to always think about when it comes to things, you know, like, you have to think about these things, but at the end of the day, you know, there's only so much you can plan for, and, well, we're probably going to get Goldengo as a response here, but that's good for us if they don't take out Fez, but, this is Goldengo we're on about here. They play Quad Boss most of the time, so, yeah, the pants are starting to go a little bit brown. And not in a good way. If they don't have boss for Fez, we do have an advantage here. Because it means we can take out a Dengo. There's Arven. They sometimes play CC. So hopefully they don't. And I don't think they do. A Genesect. We could also use Bear as well. Bloodmoon could actually get some reps in this matchup, because obviously we can go into the Bear and swing with Bear and hopefully take a knockout on like Fez or something, but yeah. They got a Lunar Cycle. I don't think they play CC, because I didn't see evidence of a CC. They just grabbed Nest Ball. But if they're just taking out Rayquaza here, I'm fine with that, because I can promote anything and still get a Dragonite off. With hand disruption as well, so I'm fine with this, you know. I'm not worried in the slightest. There's a Vessel. They're definitely overextending. They shouldn't be playing this many cards. I know for a fact they've got 3 energy in hand. They are 100% overextending, and they don't need to be. But, well, that's my opponent's choice, you know. I don't make the decisions for them. But yeah, they're definitely overextending. They don't need to be drawing this many cards. Plus, you know, if they don't play CC or like don't have boss for turn, they are overextending a lot. But still, we can actually promote the Fez, because again, it doesn't matter. Dragonite doesn't care when it moves. All right, so let's go for the evolutionary guidance. We might as well thin this Dragonite out the deck, because then we get to find more pieces. So we'll Dynamotor to the Dragonair, attach to the Dragonair, evolve to the Dragonite, and I don't really want to evolve 2, is all I'll say. Do I want to bench Budew? Probably not. I'm just going to Iono. I don't need to do anything else there. Ionoing here is going to sting them pretty good, which is what I want to have happen. We'll then Fez for 3. I could thin with Buddy Poffin, but I don't think it's relevant. Do I want to get Rayquaza back? Is Rayquaza relevant? Technically, yes, it's relevant. So I'll get back Rayquaza, because technically he's relevant. Because if I take out 2 Goldengos, I can then go for Lunatone or Solrock for game with the Rayquaza. So we don't have to go through 2 prizes. And then, yeah, we're just going to Sky Transport into the Dragonite. I'll play these Poffins now. Do I want to grab 3rd Eel? I don't think I do. And yeah, Iono Glide, 330. Discard both energies that we need. Down goes a Dengo. Because like I said, technically it's relevant, and I needed them out the prize cards. I needed those. That is an excellent draw. Thank goodness. I was kind of hoping to get my Ionos off the prize cards. And well, that's just going to help, isn't it? Because what it means now is, if they can't knock out this Dragonite this turn, we can then go into a fresh Dragonite using, you know, Eels, Dragonair to find, obviously, you know, the evolution and stuff. It does mean we do need to find a water energy. So maybe it would have been better for this turn, because obviously we didn't need to grab back this thingy now. Maybe I could have grabbed back this water energy. They're superior. They're definitely not going to get a knockout, but if they have boss, they could do something here. Because they just vesseled away their Turo. Get rid of Goldengo plus an Arbon. Plus, they also need to establish another, you know, they need to establish another Gimmighoul this turn. Because if they don't, they're going to regret it. Unless they play Bear, I guess. Which, I've never seen a Goldengo play Bear, but, well, there's a first for everything, I guess. But no, I'm not worried at all. This list has been working really well. There's Boss, so they're probably going to go for the Fez. They are, that's fine. Interesting choice to go for the Fez. That means all their cards in hand are energy then, potentially. I don't agree with it, but I mean, you've got to do something, I guess. I'm just not going to put another 2-prizer down. I'm just going to Iono you, put down Rayquaza, and just go from there. I'm not worried in the slightest, so, you know. But still, this could be a winning state for my opponent, you know, like, they could still win from this. It's not something that I'm, you know, easy winning here. But yeah, I think on 4, I should have grabbed back this water and not the Rayquaza. But I think they have the knockout here. They wouldn't boss it if they didn't. They don't have the knockout. Ooh, that is bad. Because Sky Transport doesn't care. Oh, that is bad for you, my friend. Alright, well, and yep, they just scoop it up. I don't blame you. We had access to Eels. We had access to the Sky Transport. Yeah. I think he tried to, like, you know, draw into Fez on energy, you know. But that was such a risky move, and, well, it did not work out for my opponent, so, yeah. And we even get to go up to the Tyranitar rank. So, what did I think to the deck? I'm actually really impressed with how this build did. You know, like, taking a few different lists as inspiration. You know, the double Budew definitely putting a lot of work in these games. And, you know, Dragonite itself, thanks to the Maximum Belt, really put in some work. Now, in terms of changes, I do think Rayquaza is worth keeping. You know, like, it did do us a good service in that matchup particularly. But also just having the option to have a single prize that can deal with the likes of Mimikyu and stuff, always nice to have. The only other thing is, genuinely, I think you could actually cut the candy. I'm not even joking. Like, I've not felt in these games like I needed a candy. So that could be another deck space for potentially a 7th Lightning, a 4th Water, maybe another backup attacker, maybe a single prize attacker like the Zorora that I mentioned, or maybe the Zorora with, I think it's Combat Thunder, I think it's from Surging Sparks, as like a cheap early attacker when you don't need Rayquaza, or if you prize Rayquaza. It's not a very good attacker though, I will say. I've tried it in testing, it's not great. But no, you could even play something like Hop's Cram if you wanted to. You know, like, you could force your opponent to take a couple of prizes early on like Budews and stuff, and then you can use Hop's Cram to obviously take a knockout, and then obviously go 3-2 for your game. That's assuming they play Megas, of course. But no, I've really enjoyed this deck, and I'm glad it's actually played ball today, because I was a bit nervous about, you know, doing a video on Dragonite. Not for the reasons you may think. Like, I was thinking, like, this deck isn't going to work, this deck's not going to work, because it was very shaky in testing, and that's what kind of threw my confidence. But I'm really glad this build worked, and I'm really glad that this deck got to do some serious work today. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. Really hope you enjoyed seeing Mega Dragonite in action, and I'll see you next time.